Kesubos daf samach Zakein. The Gemara asks, how could it be that Nakdiman ben Gurion didn't give tzedakah? The Gemara says, Iba yisem lichvado huda ovid, or kidboile the meved le'ovid. The Maharsha asks, what's the understanding in Gemara's Torah? It's the lichvado huda ka'ovid. Even if he gave tzedakah the kavod, nevertheless it's considered a mitzvah of tzedakah, like it's before in the Gemara, that if someone gives tzedakah, nash yichya b'ni hareze tzaddik. So the Maharsha says, the answer is al-korchach, that if one gives the kavod, it's worse than if one gives tzedakah for another intention. And from this, the Maharsha points out the tremendous dvar musar on the bnei doiroi of the Maharsha, that were makabitz and they gathered a lot of wealth. Shaloi be'emuno v'chil Hashem, and with gezel akom ukiyetz b'zeh, and afterwards they gave large donations in public to get a mishaberach, and that they're getting mishaberach publicly. Lishem will defers through that tzedakah is a mitzvah haba ba'avera. The Haflah asks on the Maharsha that's mavur, the lo'ulim yasik v'odam b'toyer of mitzvahs afilu shlei lishma shem m'teich shlei lishma bo lishma is referring to even on the sina of tzedakah and intention to do a mitzvah l'kavod. Nevertheless, it pertains to halacha of m'teich shlei lishma bo lishma. So the Haflah says a chiddush that only when you do a mitzvah nas, or you learn Torah and you have in mind the seif hakavod lavoi, then it's considered a mitzvah of Talmud Torah, a mitzvah tzedakah b'shleimus. However, if at the time he does the mitzvah, he has in mind for gaiva, and we say Tovas Hashem kol v'alev, an intention for gaiva is like ovid avodah zara. So if there's intention of kavod at the time of the actual mitzvah, then it's worse than intention of seif hakavod lavoi. And according to this, the Haflah says that's the answer to Tesis' kasha in brachas and in psachim. On that we say the yasik b'odam b'toyer shlei lishma m'teich shlei lishma bo lishma. From that, the Gemara says that our oisik b'toyer shlei lishma noyach lo shlei nivra, and the Haflah says the answer is that if at the time he does a mitzvah, he has in mind shlei lishma, he has in mind the shem gaiva at the time of the actual mitzvah, then it's noyach lo shlei nivra. And the Haflah continues that b'emes you don't need this teretz to answer the Maharsha's question, and even if a tzedakah nash yichya b'ni is a tzaddik, nevertheless, since he didn't have in mind with his nesina tzedakah on the tzedakah l'shem mitzvah, so therefore with this nesina tzedakah he's not yotzei miderech hateva, and since anias is a galgal hachoyze ba'olam, like it's before the Gemara in Shabbos, so therefore only with a tzedakah l'shem shemayim you nitzel, that your descendants shouldn't be aniyim. Einer b'chonon, that is similar to the Maharsha, and he asks that even though he had in mind l'shem kavod, nevertheless, besides for the intention l'shem kavod, he also had in mind l'shem mitzvah, and b'chai gavna, they have in mind for kavod and the mitzvah. It's considered a mitzvah l'shma. Eine shir psachim daf ches. So the Rebbe says they have to say that he only had in mind l'shem kavod. He says it's hard to say that Nakdiman ben Gurion, he was from the great tzaddikim, that the sun stopped because of him. So Rebbe says you have to say like the Maharsha said, that the kavod is worse than other intentions shlei lishma, and it's as if you had in mind l'shem shituf, like it's one the chovas avavis for ayin sham. Moving further on, the Gemara says that the chiv nesina tzedakah is de machsoro asher yechsaloi, even a sus lichav alav. The Evan Lord's the fun of it. Abul Yashiv in his Oris brings an interesting discussion that Rabbi Avraham Misachachov was mechabed a Rebbe that didn't have a great Chasidus, and he was mechaber him in a tremendous oifen, and his Talmidim asked him, why is he being mechaber this Rebbe, and he explained that he saw that this Rebbe was lacking the kavod that he was expecting to get from his Chasidus, since he didn't have a following. So therefore he held that it's a mitzvah to mechabed this Rebbe that didn't have a large Chasidus midin tzedakah, because it's the machsoro that he's missing the kavod that he would get from his Chasidim. So Yashiv asks that we find that there's a mitzvah of tzedakah of the machsoro, even sus dirkavolov. The Eved Lord's the fun of is someone that is a evir and he's a oni, and he's also missing Eved Lord's the fun of. However, someone that's not an oni and is only missing Eved Lord's the fun of mechatisi, that's bechlal tzedakah. Eine sefer simchas binyamin from Chaburas Dirshu that we proved that there's a makom to say that even someone that's not an oni gomer, but he's just missing the machsoro, that's also chal l'shem oni klape, that he's missing the machsoro, that the Mordechai and Baba Basra brings a machlokes rishonim. If someone has Masayim Zuz, if he could take tzedakah, with that's mavur, the Masayim Zuz can't take tzedakah specifically like a shikho peya. However, tzedakah you could take if it's considered a machsoro. And Rebbe Malin explains that the suffix of the Mordechai is, if the shem only for Nesina tzedakah is totally Masayim Zuz, or the shem only in regard to mitzvah tzedakah is totally in the machsoro sheyachsaloi. The Ein Sefer Simchas Binyamin that we asked that Zakein, according to Beleib's Pshat in the Mordechai, that the suffix is, if the shem only the gabet tzedakah is totally in Masayim Zuz, or the machsoro, on that the Mordechai says that you can't take tzedakah because hariz a goizel es haniyim. Why is it totally in goizel es haniyim? Typically, they doesn't have a shame of a oni, and therefore you can't take tzedakah. So he explained in Simchas Binyamin that's mashman the Mordechai that the shame only the gabit tzedakah is definitely totally in the machsoro, and that the Masayim Zuz he can't take tzedakah is a din mesuyim, because if he has Masayim Zuz is considered being goizel aniyim and taking away from other aniyim that need the tzedakah, but the shame only definitely has, since it's considered the machsoro. So according to this, you could say that even someone that's not missing in his panos for other things, but just the gabi Eved Lord's lefonov is also considered only gabi Eved Lord's lefonov. And who then this Rebbe that's missing kavod is also considered only klape the fact that he's missing kavod. But Zakein akati, because we only find that he considered only if the machsoro is missing because of his aniyas. However, this Rebbe wasn't missing the kavod because of aniyas, rather just because he was missing a following, and not machmas aniyas who the kasina Allah subhanahu gavna. It's not considered only bechlal. Moving further on, the Gemara brings a story of Hillel Zakein that didn't find for ani ben toivim or Eved Lord's lefonov, and he was rotz lefonov himself for shloisha milin. B'chonon asks, what's the understanding of this Gemara? How could Hillel Zakein embarrass himself and run in front of the Ani Ben Toivim, warn the Rivosh, that the ptur of Zakein veino lichvado, that's potter from Hashavas Aveda, is not only a ptur in Hashavas Aveda, it's an isser for Zakein veino lichvado to embarrass himself and to mezalzel b'chvado in a situation that's a bezayin. So B'chanan says that it could be there was a place that they didn't recognize him, so therefore it was an embarrassment for himself. Yashiv asked that even if people didn't recognize him, nevertheless it's still embarrassment. So Yashiv says that could be it's referring to before he became a gadol b'Torah. Ein ben Yehoyada, it says similar to B'chanan that he ran in front of the Ben Toivim in a way that people couldn't see him, so therefore it wasn't a bezayin. Chaim Shmulevitz and the Shmuzen sends a tremendous chiddush that Hillel Zakein understood from the Oni that if he wouldn't have ever the words to follow, it would become to be kuach nefesh, and he proves from here the tremendous tiruf hadas that people could get when they run after kavod. That over here, this Oni ben Toivim became to a matzav of Bikur Nefoshes because of his lack of kavod. Ayin le'il nafit zayin, the Bechon has a similar kasha on the Gemara, the Shmuel by Yitzchak danced in front of the Kala for the mitzvahs Chosim v'Kala. So Bechon says over there that the Teretz's kasha is that since at the time they did the mitzvahs niked, that there was a mitzvah, so therefore it's not considered a bezoy in a Torah, like it's for to be halacha, that if at the time of the asiyas mitzvah it's niked, that's a mitzvah, it's not considered a bezoy. It doesn't have the isser of being mezalzel on oneself, and in a sense that's good for the machlokas in the Gemara, if it pertains to halacha, by a mitzvah shebinodem lechaveroi. Now the Achronim say that who did over here could be at the time that he was rotz lefnei ha'oni, was nicker, that he was doing a mitzvah, and therefore didn't have an isser for Hillel Zakein to mezalzel in his kavod HaTorah.